This is an instant classic. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen from this guy, I think.
Ben
Prepino
Hey.
makes a video called Rise of BLM. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Those people associated with huge crime spike. I cannot wait. My favorite YouTube comedy channel, Benny Pepino. I cannot wait for him to give us the data and the information tying the rise like Dark Knight Rises. Have you guys seen that movie? I think that's the one where Joker says we live in a community. So here we go. He's going to show us the data that shows the rise of BLM is associated with a huge crime spike. I can't wait to see it.
Hey. So have things gotten better over the course of the last year? The answer, of course, is no. They've gotten significantly worse. At the end of 2020, Chicago police reported more than 750 murders, a jump of more than 50%. By mid-December, LA saw a 30% increase over the previous year with 322 homicides. There were 437 homicides in New York City by December 20th, nearly 40% more than the previous year. So yes, things are getting worse. They're getting significantly worse.
He leaves out a couple interesting crime statistics here. He's like, look at these big cities. All these increase in murders. Check these out. Tulsa, Oklahoma. We voted for Trump in 2020. 47.6% increase in murders. Then we go to Lubbock, Texas. 100% increase. Okay, by the way, there's like nobody in Lubbock. Went from 15 murders in 2019 to 30, all the way to 30. Here's another interesting thing that he leaves out. And remember, he's trying to tie Black Lives Matter protests to increase in murders. Murders and crime went up. Baltimore, 3.6% decrease. By the way, Baltimore, let's just take a look here. Oh, I don't want to subscribe, dude. I'm not interested. Thousands take to Baltimore streets, I-83, to protest the death of George Floyd police brutality. Welcome to Lubbock, Texas. We're going to go get some tea. You want to get some tea? We had 100% increase in murders. And I really do think it was because of those goddamn George Floyd protests. There's the one black guy who lives in Lubbock. He was like, I don't like that. I'm just kidding. I've been to Lubbock many times. I live in Texas and I like it there. Okay? Giving you guys a little bit of a hard time. Okay, so crime seems to be going up all over the country. There was a huge pandemic, lots of people losing their jobs, lots of problemos. But he's going to show us that this is all because of BLM. Rise of BLM associated with huge crime spike. Okay, let's hear this. Let's hear this scientific connection that you're going to make.
So yes, things are getting worse. No. They're getting significantly worse. No. I mean, just back in late March, the New York Times ran a piece. And remember, today, the New York Times runs a piece about the wonderful events that are taking place all across America to commemorate the death of George Floyd. No. And America's racial reckoning and all of this. Well, you know what's happening at George Floyd Square? People getting shot at George Floyd Square. Like, literally yesterday. Okay, here is tape of an AP reporter reporting from outside the George Memorial at this square in Minneapolis where George Floyd died. And gunfire breaks out. Yesterday. So, how about that racial reckoning, gang? Is this making lives better for anybody? Here we go.
This bill of comprehensive police reform just got to be careful here with some gunshots. Excuse us.
Oh, excuse us, sorry. There's just some gunfire breaking out here at George Floyd Memorial and in the George Floyd Square. I mean, no biggie. And of course, the answer is it is no biggie because this happens like every weekend at the George Floyd Square.
This is interesting because we here at my show also sent a correspondent down there, and the same thing happened.
Nobody cares about my films. For example, what was that?
I think when people are shooting,
we quickly realised that some wacko had taken a pot shot at us with an air rifle, and Herzog had been hit.
So, couple things to kind of think about here. First of all, a little bit odd, a little bit ironic that Benny Pepino's like, this is unbelievable. People are shooting weapons. People are shooting weapons around civilians. And he also called this like a place of worship. People are shooting weapons at a place of worship. This is unacceptable. The second thing, again, I'm kind of confused because the title of this thing is Rise of BLM Associated with Huge Crime Spike. So this is a video of some gunshots happening at this thing. How have you tied the rise of BLM, which was across the country and across the world? How does this video tie that activity to a crime spike? Exactly. Also, I'm a little confused because that person shooting that gun is exercising their rights. When I hear gunshots popping off like that, me as like a Second Amendment guy who's always droning on my YouTube channel about that crap to please my viewers, it's the sound of somebody who I know is a lunatic who didn't have to wait a couple months to get that gun. And that's the sound of sweet. That is the sound of sweet sensual freedom, dudes. So I love all this. I'm just really confused as to when we're going to make this case. And from what I understand, this guy went to Harvard Law School, so I'm like, when are we going to get to the case here? But it's okay. I have time.
Like every weekend in the George Floyd Square. I mean, no biggie. And of course, the answer is it is no biggie because this happens like every weekend at the George Floyd Square.
We're okay.
Hey, how many shots are being fired here? It's like a war zone over here. And we're...
It's like a war zone. It's like a war zone over here. Could you imagine? Could you imagine supporting somebody doing something like that? Just like people trying to go about their day and then like weapons start going off and interrupting their lives. I think, you know what I think honestly happened while we had 100% increase in murders from 2019 to 2020 is because I think there's something in that tea. Again, I have friends in Lubbock. I love Lubbock. We're doing a comedy, okay? I think is what has happened that we were at the Cracker Barrel and they were out of the sausage patty links that I like when I went to my breakfast. And I was like, I'm straight up going to murder somebody right now.
National protests over racial justice. Minneapolis police said they responded just after 10 a.m. to reports of shots fired near Elliott Avenue, which is part of an area known as George Floyd Square. A short time later, a person showed up at Abbott Northwestern Hospital suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound, according to authorities. And by the way, this is not... And it requires acts of fealty, and it requires acts of faith. And those acts of fealty and faith...
Oh, buddy. I mean, when are we going to get to this case? I think this is why the legal career didn't work out. We're going into Patton Oswalt mode. Guess that's why the legal career didn't work out. I think this is why the legal career didn't work out. This is why my boys never had a real job here. All right? Because if you're going to make a case, you have to say, okay, here's the title of the video. Rise of BLM associated with huge crime spike. Okay, so what you might want to do is say, here's some research, here's the statistics, and here's some research linking these two things. And so far, we've seen a video of gunshots and then some crime statistics without any link to this BLM movement. So, we're 2 minutes and 37 seconds in here.
Sort of the Christian thought that Jesus died is an unbelievable thing. I mean, equivalent to sort of the Christian thought that Jesus died for your sins. Nancy Pelosi suggested that George...
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'd like to prove today that the rise of BLM is associated with a huge crime spike. Now, let me tell you about Jesus first. Jesus Christ and the do. I mean, he's right. He's talking about when Nancy Pelosi said that thing. Yeah, she's a dimwit. She's a dip nut. She's got to stop. You know? If my Mima was out there doing that stuff, I'd be, come on, Mima. Let's just go eat cookies or something. You're 1,000 years old. This is not being ageist.
According to stats from the police department, this year so far little has changed. The area has become something of an autonomous zone. No. With barriers and signs calling it the Free State of George Floyd. Well, if this is the Free State of George Floyd, it looks a lot more like a place for gang warfare.
Make pee-pee.
It looks like a hellscape if this is the Free State of George Floyd. People are literally firing shots at George Floyd's memorial on the 1-year commemoration of his death. And this is the Black Lives Matter movement that was supposed to make America much, much better?
Make pee-pee.
Okay,
Again, nationwide, We looked at Baltimore. I looked at Baltimore where murders actually went down, where they had thousands of people protesting in Baltimore. What's going on here, buddy? When are we gonna make this case? What's going on? So you're probably gonna be really shocked by this, but he never even tries to make this case seriously. Really, honestly, I'm disappointed in him. I'm not even mad. I'm disappointed. Like Ben Prepatino, I also went to Harvard Tavern, which is a restaurant in Michigan, and I'm a scientist, and I did a lot of very deep research to bring you the following hypotheses, which is, here's an article from the leftist, I think it's like a Marxist-Leninist, a Marxist to John Leninist paper called Bloomberg Business Week, this thing. The legacy of the lost year will be devastating inequality. COVID amplified every structural bias that exists. Then I'll click over the tab one time here. This is a study done in January of 2021 that says, how do inequality and deprivation produce high crime and low trust? So these are two equal ideas here. These are two equal hypotheses, okay? We got one, which is that a nationwide / worldwide protest movement against police brutality, it did something in people's brains where they said, I want to murder more. There were some BLM protests here in Austin, and I went down there and I left and I was like, I got a hankering for murdering. Now, I don't know why. There was a guy at one of those protests, and he was kind of like, he was using it to kind of further his like music career, it seemed like. He's like playing his guitar. I murdered him because I was just like, this is not what it's about, you know? So that's one hypothesis. Another one is we can kind of look at things that actually kind of make sense. So look, we got a lot of problems for people. There's a lot of people who they're economically, okay, guys, they're economically in severe situations, a lot of people, okay? What I would suggest is that we do a fundraiser, okay? We're going to do a fundraiser to donate to charity. And I would like to partner up with Ben Pepino for this, okay? And what we will do is we will do a video where, and this is all consensual, this will be set up, only if Ben Pepino agrees to this, we'll do this as a fundraiser. I will shove him in a locker, and as long as he can stay in the locker, the donations go up or something. Okay, so if he stays in 1 hour, he gets like $1,000 or something. 2 hours, $2,000. So guys, another beautiful video in the books by your boy FaZe Rug. I will see you in the future. I'm not sure when. I just might wander away and just keep walking until I get to Las Vegas or something, okay? Bye. Hey everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
exclusive
Patreon exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited.
a behind-the-scenes show where I reveal all my secrets, and a show where we go deep on an important topic that you will want to know about. Also, you get the daily and complete live show audio-only feeds. And at the top level, for only 25 bones, you can become a producer. These people that you're seeing right here make this program possible. Without them, nothing. It goes right in the toilet, right in the trash, and we set it on fire. It's these people who make it work. So please, for Christ's sake, become a patron. Bye-bye, love you.